Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm back and it's February 5th, and believe it or not, it is 5:47 p.m. Eastern Time. I say that only because most of the time I post very late at night, but considering the health problems that I've been having, I thought it might be better off. I might be better off if I do my research in the morning and try to bring this earlier in the day. Then I can go and do my other errands and so forth. And if I run out of energy, I run out of energy, but at least my post will be done. So that's what I'm trying for now, and we'll see how this works. All right. What we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to be going over the Q posts, and Q has posted a lot today, and of course we missed one post on the 3rd of February because there was only that one post, and I thought, okay, it's not really worth doing a whole video on one post. All right, so thank you guys also, those of you that have contributed via Coffee, Patreon, or supported the channel in other ways, prayer, encouragement, what have you. I really do appreciate that. I do have some people to thank, but I will be doing that in another video this evening. Hopefully, we're going to go through this video. Then the next video will be about the coronavirus. And also, I do have a video ready to go, ready to record, just regular news updates. So hopefully I'll get through all that tonight, but if not, I'll get through the two really, really important ones. So here we go. All right, this is the one from February the 3rd. Who are the real racists? Now this is drop number 3824, and it has a picture here of Trump with gosh, that's Muhammad Ali. That is Jesse Jackson. Not sure who that is. Don somebody. I'm sorry, I should know, but I don't. Wasn't a racist until he ran for president as a Republican and won. That is so true. I have never in my whole life heard anybody call Donald Trump racist until he ran for president. And then everybody was saying it. So there's been no indication. I've never heard him speak disparagingly about African Americans. I've never heard him, heard of him say anything or do anything or write anything that was racist. Doesn't mean that he hasn't, but I've never heard of it. So I just have a real hard time with thinking that he's racist. I don't believe that for a moment. Now, Q has left us with two links that we're going to go out to. Then he says, open your eyes to see the truth. Who are the real racists? Q. Well, let's go out and take a look. And this first one is very interesting. Actually, I think I've already got that one pulled up. I do. And this is a very young Joe Biden, 1985, at a Democrat congressional dinner, and he's introducing the band singer who happens to be Michael Jackson. Yes, Michael Jackson. Now, listen, and I want to draw your attention to what he says. He says, I'm going to be introducing some really important people, but first, let me introduce the singer. So, what is that saying? That he is not important, but the other people, the politicians, whatever, are? Very interesting and very telling, I guess, would be the word.
We're going to have some important people coming out in a minute, but there's one more band member that I want you to meet. Ladies and gentlemen, our vocalist tonight, Michael Jackson. Michael, would you please stand? Thank you. Thank you very much. Soon to become Prince, as I just pointed out to me. Ladies and gentlemen, my job is...
Now, that did not look like Michael Jackson to me. So maybe it's another Michael Jackson, or maybe he was just making fun of this person, and because they were black, calling him Michael Jackson, because I don't know. But it's interesting how he said, well, we've got some really important people, but first let me introduce, the whole thing is just a little bit odd. I was wondering if down here there's any more of an explanation, but there isn't. So let's go on. That is Joe Biden. No doubt in my mind that he is actually racist, because he says things like that all the time. Now let's go back here and where are we? We're right here. All right, now let's go to the next one, which is Hillary Clinton.
The C-SPAN networks bring you
much younger Hillary Clinton. And this, you have probably seen this clip before because it's been brought to my attention, I know, in the past by Q. So let's take a look.
Forum public affairs programming from the nation's capital and are a public service of your television provider. C-SPAN, created by cable.
The fourth challenge is to take back our streets from crime, gangs, and drugs. And we have actually been making progress on this count as a nation because of what local law enforcement officials are doing, because of what citizens and neighborhood patrols are doing. We're making some progress. Much of it is related to the initiative called community policing, because we have finally gotten more police officers on the street. That was one of the goals that the president had when he pushed the crime bill that was passed in 1994. He promised 100,000 police. We're moving in that direction, but we can see it already makes a difference. Because if we have more police interacting with people, having them on the streets, we can prevent crimes. We can prevent petty crimes from turning into something worse. But we also have to have an organized effort against gangs. Just as in a previous generation we had an organized effort against the mob. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel. And the president has asked the FBI to launch a very concerted effort against gangs.
Okay, that is, I'm not going to play the rest of it because that is what Q wanted us to hear. She's talking about, and notice how she says these people. And also she said that they need to bring them to heel. Bring them to heel. So I mean, yes, it is racist. I don't know. I don't think, well, Joe Biden, that one, no question in my mind, that was just a little bit over the top. Here, yes, she's calling them super predators. She's calling them these people. These are the type of people. You know, she's saying we need to bring them to heel. Yeah, I guess that could, because she is talking about black gangs. There's no question about that. So, yeah, I guess it is considered racist. So let's go back here to Q, and he's saying, open your eyes to see the truth. Who are the real racists? Well, we already know that. We know that these people like Pelosi and all these people, it's not that they care about the African American population. They don't. They've very clearly shown that. They want to keep the blacks down, but you know, they don't have any love towards the African American. They don't care about their plight or making their lives better or, you know, producing more jobs for them or what have you. They don't care about that. They care about votes. And traditionally, the African Americans have voted Democrat. Well, not so much anymore, because that is changing rapidly and exponentially. All right, let's go to the next drop, and it is 3825. After State of the Union, California voter calls in saying she and her family will never vote Democrat again. Now, I did watch the State of the Union, and I was mortified, absolutely mortified by their behavior. I cannot believe, you know what? Honestly, you could go to a primary school anywhere, and the kids would be far better behaved than that. It is unconscionable how they behaved last night. So we're going to go out to this link, and it says, what happens when the mass population witness no political spin, fake news cannot censor State of the Union address, and the anti-American actions of the left firsthand. The silent war continues. Q. Yes, yes, it does. And that is a very good point that Q brought up, and I didn't think about that. The fact that the State of the Union address could not be censored. So POTUS was able to get his message out there and actually inform people of all the winning that has happened in America over the last 3 years, low unemployment, just, across the board, it seems that it's good news when you come to Trump. He has done wonderful things for the country, but no one, it seems, no one on the Democrat side wants to give him any credit for that whatsoever. So let's go out and hear from this woman that called in saying she and her family will never vote Democrat again. And let's listen to this.
Action to the speech.
I agree wholeheartedly with you.
Hang on here. This seems to be very, very low. I'm hoping that you'll be able to hear it. I think I've got everything turned up as high as it can go. But hopefully you'll be able to hear this.
California, good evening to you. What's your reaction to the speech?
I agree wholeheartedly with the other callers. I am a Democrat as well, but no longer will I vote Democrat. I think it's outrageous that they sat there when all these good things are happening to our country and how much we love our country, and they looked like they hated our country. And Nancy Pelosi, the whole time she's sitting up there with a disgusting look on her face. It's outrageous. I will never vote Democrat again, and I'm sick of it, and my whole family feels the same way. My husband, my friends are sitting here, all former Democrats. We all voted for Hillary last time, and therefore, never, ever will we ever vote Democrat again.
Now,
So you see, they're hurting themselves because you know what? They could have taken the high road. They could have gone in, clapped where it was appropriate or not, but at least they could have sat there and looked like normal human beings instead of having to telegraph it to every single person that was watching that they hate this president, and therefore they hate America because he's duly elected president. You know what? There's lots of presidents. I didn't agree with Obama. I didn't vote for Obama. I wouldn't vote for him ever again. Well, not that he could run again, but I was very, very much against Obama, but I never wished him harm. I didn't, wish for him to be removed. Well, I did want him to be removed, but I was not, and he should have been removed, but nobody really knew what was happening at that point, all the criminal activities that were taking place. But you know what? I don't understand why the Democrats just can't realize that, you know what, this will play its course and, Trump will be out eventually. Why be so childish? There's Pelosi ripping up and you notice how she didn't take the whole thing and just rip it once? No, she had to extend it out so more people could see, because if she just did it once, somebody might miss that. But she divided it into little sections and then ripped it so everybody could see she was ripping up the speech. Then when a reporter asked her, why did you rip up the president's speech? She said, well, that was the courteous thing to do, considering. She's like a child. She really is. Like, I would love to know what her, the level of her, some people can, be 20, 30 years old, but be at the level of a 10-year-old. I don't even know if she's at the level of a 10-year-old. I don't even know very many 10-year-olds that would do that, to tell you the truth. So let's go back now and go on. And Q is asking, what happens when the mass population witnesses? There's no political spin. The State of the Union, there was no political spin. Fake news couldn't censor it. The anti-American actions of the left, firsthand, they witnessed it. Everybody could see it. The silent war continues. Q. Well, excuse me. I don't think that it bodes well for the Democrat Party, because I think Americans are sick to death of it. They're sick to death of it. Like, grow up. What job in the world could you go to and behave like that and still have a job at the end of the day? And yet these people are paid good money, taxpayer money, and they're doing nothing. All they've done for the last 3 years is concentrate on getting Trump out. So we are being ripped off royally by these people. We're paying, our tax dollars are going into their salaries, and what are they doing? I don't know. That is Sammy, and he was just fed. He's got lots of toys, and he's happy and contented. So I don't know why he's yowling, but it probably has something to do with the fact that I'm recording a video instead of paying attention to him. All right, let's go on now. And here we are in the next, at the next drop, 3826, 3826. It says, "In God we trust," Q-proof. And we have this, and this is a photo. It's blown up here so that you can see it. It says, "In God we trust," and this is the back of Trump. And it says, well, first of all, we have a link to, well, actually, the link is, excuse me, to this picture. So this is just a bigger picture of the same thing. And it says, "Sometimes the past can find the future." Q. Now, I had a hard time trying to discern what exactly this means, because I thought, what exactly is Q trying to tell us here? Well, I went out and I found this by Lisa Mae Crowley, and she said, on February 1st, 2020, Flag Pick had file name "In God We Trust." There was only one previous drop that had those words, which was on the 27th of January 2018 drop. It had a warning to Democrats about proceeding down this dangerous path, D-class imminent. So I don't know if that is the interpretation or not. I would imagine that it's pretty close if it isn't right on. So because I don't have too much to say about that, we're going to move on, and hopefully, because I know a lot of you watch different videos from different people on these drops, and I think that that's good. I would encourage that, because somebody might have little bits and pieces that another one missed. So it's good. It takes us all. All right. Now, this is 3827, 3827. And here is a little bit more explanation, because here is the flag pick that's "In God We Trust." I do believe, yes, "In God We Trust" is the name of this flag picture, which was posted previously by Q. And we've got this that links to the other picture that we just saw, this one. And it says, "Sometimes the past can find the future. In God we trust." What a coincidence. Then Q adds, "Sometimes the future can find the past." So sometimes the past can find the future, sometimes the future can find the past. All right. So we're going to go on from there, and we get to this one, 3828, 3828. One moment, because all of a sudden I just had this fear that it wasn't recording, but it is recording, so good. I thought, wouldn't that be awful if I recorded all this and it wasn't recording? Yes, that's happened to me before. All right, now let's, right here. Okay, so the next post, 3828, it's going to be biblical. Now, interestingly enough, let's go out to this and see this, what Q has, the link that Q has left.
I'm going to pull the whole thing down. I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's got to be biblical.
So that is the link that Q left from a movie. I'm not sure what movie that is from, but, and I do apologize for the the language, but I don't have any control over that. Q linked to it, and so he wanted us to see it. All right, and let's come back here. Now, this is from the 17th of December 2019, okay? This is an old post, and I've just put it in here to compare. It says the Senate must be unrestricted to conduct other important business. If Democrats knew Senate would not vote to convict, why proceed? How long does a typical Senate impeachment trial take? Can the Senate conduct other business during this time? No. What value might this have for the Democrats? Barr, Durham working in secret, Senate working openly, value of public learning the truth prior to unsealing the indictments, propaganda push failing, transparency and accountability is the only way forward to save the republic. This is not another 4-year election. Game theory. Q. Now, let's come down here. Q posts the "it's going to be biblical" clip from Law-Abiding Citizen again. Get ready for tomorrow. Fireworks. It all goes down after impeachment is over. The only card the Dems can play right now is the delay card. That's it. The only thing they can try and delay and draw out is the impeachment hearing in the Senate. Q has said that they are doing this to prevent Senate from conducting other business, such as investigating corruption, but that is coming to an end. They can't inevitably delay it. Q has said that the Senate investigation into Dem corruption is necessary to make the public aware of Dem corruption and treason prior to the unsealing of indictments. Public transparency essential vis-a-vis proper channels. All right. So after this indictment's over, and it will be, that's when it's all going to happen. So, according to Q, and this is from Dio Presso Liber, Sun Q2 on Twitter. So, yeah, I do believe that that's what they're doing, and I do believe that it's going to be biblical. And it's interesting that he says, "I'm going to bring the whole house down on your heads," from that clip from the movie. It remains to be seen what's going to happen, but Q's been right. Now, some of the stuff he has said has been delayed, some of it. We expected it to happen sooner than it has, but a great deal of what Q has said has come to pass. So, all right. Now, let's come down to the next one, 3829, and it says, no surprise, George Soros is the #1 donor behind the DNC's failed caucus app. Now, you've heard, no doubt, about the failed app for the Iowa caucus, and it says, and there it is, the single largest donor of Shadow Inc., which is the company that's behind. The company behind the failed Iowa caucus app is George Soros. Well, isn't that? And also Pete Buttigieg, or however you want to say his last name, is also a contributor to that app. But George Soros, #1. Yep. So, and down here it says, in case anybody missed it, it will surprise no one to learn that Soros is the #1 funding source behind Shadow. No, it does not. I don't think it would surprise anyone. But, it's interesting, if you ask me. I don't understand why George Soros cannot be brought into line. Is this not foreign interference? Everything that George Soros does by funding Antifa and all these, is this not foreign interference in our election system? Because I would say yes, it is. But I don't understand why nothing can be done. But Q, back December 11th, 2017, now that's seems like a long time ago. That's, a couple months after Q started posting. He said, we have a special place picked out for George Soros. Really special. Q. So they do intend on dealing with this problem, but it can't come too soon, if you ask me. All right. So, and I just put fascinating, Soros is behind the failed Democrat Iowa caucus app. And yes, he is. And no, it's not surprising. All right. Now we are on to the next. It is drop 3830. 3830. Dems' hatred for POTUS, patriotism, and America was on full display at the State of the Union. Boy, was it ever. I've never seen the likes of it. Really, I haven't. Not from adults. Really, not even many kids act that bad, to tell you the truth. So it says, remember that the Democrats sat while you were celebrated last night. And when he says, while you were celebrated last night, he means American. The American people were celebrated last night. But the Democrats aren't for America. They're not for you. If they were, they wouldn't be trying to impeach a duly elected president. They're not for America. And their policies show that quite profoundly. I end a lot of articles about how the Democrats really feel about you by telling you to vote accordingly, but Trump's State of the Union speech highlighted the Democrats' utter contempt for President Donald Trump, you, and this country last night as they sat through almost every applause line that celebrated you doing well, you being America. As the GOP highlighted, in a video they posted to Twitter, the Democrats heard about the all-time low unemployment levels of the Black community, the Hispanic community, the young adult community, and more. This should be a reason to celebrate. We should see our elected leaders getting to their feet and showing support. But instead, only half the room decided to stand. And guess which half that was? Of course, the Republican half. The other half, the Democrats, sat still, arms folded, and practically seethed at times. Reminder for Democrats, it's okay to applaud good news. Now, this is the an enlarged picture of their faces. This guy's sleeping. None of them look. This person looks completely bored right out of her skull. This one's playing on her phone. That one looks like she's probably playing on her phone. This one's rubbing her eye and reading something. There's Shifty Adam Schiff, who looks just... You know, I noticed something else about him, that he seemed to have this mocking look on his face a great deal of the time. And there's something about that I just want to pinch his little head off. Anyway, we'll move on. And there's Nadler, who looks like he's falling asleep. None of them look, you know, like they want to be there or they're enjoying themselves at all, or that they're even listening. Now, maybe she looks like she's listening, maybe partially, who knows. But yeah, and let's go out to the link. And part of that Q quoted came from this article. Remember that the Democrats sat while you were celebrated last night. Oh, I think people will remember. I really think that they will remember when it comes time to vote. I'm hoping that they do. And this is exactly what Q said in the post, so we don't need to go back over that. But, and I like this from the GOP. They tweeted, reminder for Democrats, it's okay to applaud good news. Well, I guess it would seem to them like they were, I don't know. I guess they feel that if they clap, then they're, you know, betraying the fact that they want this president out. And who knows? Who knows what was going through their head, if anything at all. All right. And my colleague, Bonchi, wrote, Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar in particular sat during some stand-worthy moments, including Charles McGee, the former Tuskegee airman, or the death of al-Baghdadi. They didn't even stand for Stephanie and Janiyah Davis, a mother and daughter who will now be able to attend whatever school she wishes and leave her underperforming school behind. This is the same party that sat stock still and shook their heads when Trump said that a socialist takeover of the American healthcare system was not going to happen. Democrats even sat during Trump's announcement of the 1 trillion trees project to help the environment, which Democrats, the party that is always boasting about taking care of the environment, didn't seem to care to stand for either. This should tell you a good deal about what the Democrats truly believe. They want to talk about helping you be successful, but if you are successful in your own accord, that's not acceptable. They want to give you a leg up, but they want that leg up to not only be by their doing, but they want you to be dependent on them after the fact with food stamps, free health care, and more. They don't really care about the environment unless there is some kind of socialist policy change attached to it. They love to pretend like they're the party of diversity and helping minorities, but when they're successful without the government's help, then they can count that as a loss, a reason to sit down and pout. And that's exactly what they did. They pouted like 4-year-olds. Do you see the pattern? Oh, I think we've been seeing the pattern for quite a while now. Unless they can have some form of control over your destiny or surroundings, they don't care what happens to you. Power comes first. You come sometime later. This is an abusive type of relationship that the Democrats want to have, one where you're dependent on them for a lot and they can take credit for all your successes. Their sitting down last night proved that they're not willing to stand for you, just themselves. Vote accordingly. I do believe that people will vote accordingly, and I think that they're going to be, there's absolutely no way at this point. I mean, we can just tell logically by the numbers that Trump is drawing into his rallies and so forth. Really, I mean, nobody can draw the kind of crowds that he can, not even superstars, singing groups and so forth. They're not able to pull those kind of numbers. Trump is like a rock star politician, and there's no way that the Democrats can compete with that. So if the Democrats win, we will know there was massive, massive cheating, and yet Q tells us that the elections are safe. Well, let's hope that that is true, because a Democrat government at this point would be America's undoing. I don't think there would be any coming back from that. If we had another 4 or 8 years of a Democrat president, I don't think America could come back from that. I really don't. So you may feel differently, but that is my opinion anyway. And let's move on now. So we are on drop 3831, panic in DC. They never thought she would lose. No, they didn't. People actually believe those responsible for the attempted coup attempt of a duly elected sitting U.S. president will go unpunished. Well, let's hope not. End to our constitutional republic, no equal justice under the law, no accountability, escape unscathed, buckle up, Q. Now, I like that. Buckle up. Well, we're buckled. We're ready. Let's go. Excuse me. And notice, if you're sitting in a parked car, there's no need to buckle your seatbelt, is there? I mean, really, there would be no need to. But when you're on the road, on the highway, you buckle your seatbelt. So we're going somewhere with this, and I can't wait. I can't wait. So this is from Julian's Rum. It says, Q said no deals. Q also said, were deals made with select Democrats? Can we expose every crooked politician? The corruption that will come out is so serious that deals must be cut for people to walk away. Otherwise, 70% of elected politicians would be in jail. Now, this is interesting because this isn't, Julian's Rum wrote this, but these are actual quotes from Q posts. So this is Q's sentiment, not Julian's Rum. So, yeah, I don't know. He says no deals. And the way I look at that is there's probably no deals for the big time players, but those that are less, I mean, you cannot put 70% of elected politicians in jail. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. They certainly did expand Gitmo. They have expanded that exponentially. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's go on to the next one. And we're at drop 3832, 3832. And it says, example of Democrat leadership, Hillary Rodham Clinton inciting violence and division in America. Yeah, it's not Trump that is inciting division, as so many would like to assert. Not at all. It's not Trump that has spawned violence at all. It is the left. Now, let's go to this link that Q has left us and take a look. All right, now, hang on here. At a time when Republicans are being shot, stabbed, doxxed, beaten, mailed powder, run out of restaurants, and sent death threats, Hillary Clinton urges Democrats to be even more uncivil. What an irresponsible statement. Every Democrat should denounce. But of course, they won't. Now, this is from October 9th, 2018. This is not new. But let's listen.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and or the Senate, that's when civility can start again. But until then, the only thing that the Republicans seem to recognize and respect is strength. You cannot be civil with a...
That's interesting, isn't it? You can't be civil with these people. So she is. I wouldn't say she's inciting violence, but she's inciting unrest, definitely. And she has, even though she didn't get in, thank the Lord. And I mean that. I'm not being whatever. I mean that sincerely, because honestly, we dodged a bullet with her. So, but even though she didn't get in, and she's blamed everyone, my gosh, I mean, I would say every month or 2 months, there's a new excuse that she comes up with why she didn't win. This has literally unraveled her completely, because she's still not over the fact that she lost. She's not over it. She wants to blame everyone but herself. And yes, she has been actively against President Trump. No question about that. Certainly not a, she's a sore loser. I mean, well, among other things. All right. So, yeah. And then you think about, Mad Maxine, saying, you find them in restaurants and you find them in, don't give them any rest. They do incite people to violence. Absolutely. No question in my mind. All right. Now, let's go back. And I guess that is it for that. There's nothing else really there to explore. So we're going to go on to the next one. And this is drop 3833. And this brings us up to date with the Q post for today anyway. But of course, today is still very young, so Q could still post. So anyway, this I cannot play for you, but I will put in the links, or beneath the video, I will pin this post to the very first comment so that you can watch this for yourself. It is an instrumental and it's called Revival, and that's about it. It's a nice instrumental, but anyway, I can't play that because I will get a copyright strike. You know, the YouTube police are out in full force always with their little robots trying to, you know, I don't know. It gets frustrating after a while. I mean, I do understand the copyright, but the censoring is getting old. It's getting very, very old, and it's getting worse. So anyway, that is it for the Q post for today. But just let me go out for a second and make sure that Q has not posted while we've been talking. No, we are completely up to date with the Q post. So that will be it for this video. And my next video will be about the coronavirus, and you're not going to want to miss that, really. There's a lot of stuff that's updated, stuff that you're not going to see in the mainstream media at all. So that is the next video. Stay tuned. And thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it. I really, really appreciate my listeners. You guys are some of the greatest people. And I always feel humbled at the quality of people that come to this channel and comment, because you're just so kind to one, you know, each other, and pray for one another. And it really warms my heart. So thank you guys so much. And I will see you in the next video.